Hello and welcome to 709 Meridian, an audio commentary podcast. Tonight we'll be talking about Swamp Thing, 1982, I think. Wes Craven, my name's Andrew.
And this is Dean.
And yes, so we decided that we were going to do the good one first this week.
Yeah, we're going to reverse it.
Yeah,
because we just love Swamp Thing.
I don't want to watch Return to Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
right
we
now.
can't endure something horrible this time around, so we're gonna reverse it.
So, okay. So we are watching the PG rated version. So you are not watching the infamous international cut, which had the amazing trivia of MGM when they released Swamp Thing. They released on DVD and maybe like 1998, 1999. It was relatively early in DVD, and they released the international cut, which had topless Adrienne Barbeau for international markets. And they got busted because some mom complained and they had to do a recall or something. And it's the theory is that they didn't have the right, they ran the wrong cut, but they didn't have the rights to it, so they shouldn't have been playing with it, versus just putting a sticker on the box. So then it got reissued, and then there's been a 2-disc set where somebody got the international cut. I believe the DVD has both. Shout Factory put it out. Tubi's got the international cut. So if you watched along on Tubi, you would be off for commercials and Adrienne Barbeau. But yeah, so that's the only thing. We are watching the theatrical cut. I don't know. So Swamp Thing. I think the last time I saw it was when the Blu-ray came out, and there's the weird commentary about how like somebody says Ray Wise didn't ever do any of the footage, and then Ray Wise says he did, and there are photos of Ray Wise, and other people are like, that's not Ray Wise in that photo, it's just not Dick. It's very weird. Like, so, and I think it was after Wes Craven had died, so they couldn't even ask him, so it was all, or I'm completely wrong. Anyway, so
Swamp Thing, 40 years
of Swamp Thing
from 82. Yeah,
well, that's fucking, is it 82? Are we sure? Did you check?
Yeah, it was 82 because it came out the same year as E.T., The Thing. Yeah, it's 82.
All right.
I'm shocked they haven't done any sort of,
But we'll talk about why that would be awkward. And not just the costume. Okay, so here we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Play. In the theater, it was an Avco Embassy.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola's movie releasing company. And it sort of like completed this Adrienne Barbeau Avco Embassy trilogy. This Escape from New York. The Fog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we get our It's a True Story-esque warning. Or, I don't know. So this is Wes Craven's really only PG movie, right? Like,
yeah,
everything else is pushing PG-13 pushing.
Didn't he do The Straight Story, one of those, the one with the guy on
the music of he did Music of the Heart.
There's that, and one with
of this era, by 1982, this was his most gentle.
Yeah, this is before.
And so Melniker Uslan, producers of the Batman movies as well, they bought up the rights to DC characters after Superman. And this was one of the ones they were able to get made. So at this point, DC had just started publishing Swamp Thing again in the saga of the Swamp Thing, and it had become
pretty relatively popular at this point.
No, This is before that.
Or was it before Vertigo?
This is yes. No, next one is going to be all that them just not being able to do that. Harry Manfredini, great score. This is along with what was our Jaws 3 score. These are the unappreciated scores of the early 80s.
Yeah. Even though it does sound a little like Friday the 13th music, but that's his forte.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he did the same thing in The Hills Have Eyes Part 2.
But yeah, so the annual for the comic series is an adaptation of this. The first annual.
And there we go. Ms. Adrienne Barbeau.
Well, it's got great low budget photography.
Yeah, because you couldn't get this now in a low budget movie.
No, hell no. That's so
actual shot.
Yeah, it's muted and diffused. It just looks dreamy, right? Like the whole time.
It's got that glow, that kind of that haze, I want to say.
And that's like, so Swamp Thing's weird because yes, it's an adaptation of a beloved, excellent comic series. Yes, it's got a sequel, campy sequel that led to a TV show that ran for years, and
the show kind of didn't go that route.
No.
You know, I think there were moves made by the time the show came out to be a little more like the comic, but then the show itself kind of ended up more like a sort of anthology.
Yeah.
Every now and then, you know, some of the episodes barely even had Swamp Thing in them.
I remember there was one that definitely didn't, because I tried to watch it once and I was like, why the fuck?
Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
And then you had your Mark Lindsay Chapman, who just played the hell out of Arcane on that show.
Okay, so we're getting some early 80s sexism.
And Adrienne Barbeau honestly could have been, you know, a Ripley type.
Yeah. They
didn't push her like that.
No,
like they could have.
They didn't. And they could have. They definitely could have.
Yeah.
The universe where she's Sarah Connor.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been great.
I couldn't see her do the first half of that movie, though.
No, they would have had to change it up a bit. She couldn't be a loser.
Yeah. She couldn't be like.
I mean, but that would probably help because that's some stuff that really doesn't age well. But yeah, so Swamp Thing, the movie though, this weird Wes Craven movie, with these long shots where you just get to hang out in the swamp. Nobody's ever done anything with Swamp Thing again like this.
No.
And it's just kind of like a low budget thing, you know, it's just Wes Craven being really good. Yeah.
Because even, you know, without the comic book notoriety, people know this movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those, hey man, you see the movie Swamp Thing?
Unlike Jaws 3 music, Jaws 3 is out. Mannequin's score is not out. This one does have did have an LP and cassette tape soundtrack release, no CD though. This location is in, I think, South Carolina, and is used in The Patriot, starring Mel Gibson. So there are a lot of extras around right now. You don't have to get to know any of these people. It's so
Nuh-uh.
funny. It's so funny. And this is a modified but mostly faithful adaptation of the comic origin. Um, Cable's a dude in that.
Yeah. Is it Matthew Cable?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Matt Cable, and they don't actually get into like this. They don't get that specific in the uh, Swamp Thing. So yeah, the first Swamp Thing comic came out in 1972. Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson, and it was famous for great Bernie Wrightson art. And then, okay, pay attention to this guy. He's got a lot of personality, and that's going to be important. Harry Ritter. But the movie's at most an adaptation of the first issue, and then we can talk about Louis Jourdan when he shows up. But it's I mean, Wes Craven wrote it too, right?
I think.
Guy's got a very open shirt. Just saying. Let's see. Cheap future or cheap super technology. They do a good job with it because there's like only a couple computers, so there's not.
It looks like stuff they probably got from other sets.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wes Craven did write the script, so.
And Adrienne Barbeau, of course, plays opposite this completely in the other 1982 classic Creep Show.
Right.
Complete 180 of this character. There we go, Ray Wise.
Ray Wise, one of the few times he gets to be a nice guy leading man.
Right.
So, I mean, this was kind of the peak of her career, right? Like,
well, yeah, the early 80s was huge for Adrienne Barbeau. And then suddenly she just kind of she fell back and then rebounded with Batman, the animated series.
Yeah.
As Catwoman. And it's worth noting Ray Wise did appear on the Swamp Thing television series, but not as Dr. Polly.
Right.
And he actually gets to share a scene with Swamp Thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So in the comic, Dr. Holland is married, and his wife's death is a big motivator once he becomes Swamp Thing. In this one, that's his sister. That's going to be a
Yeah.
plot point when she figures out that he's not a creep hitting on her. He's just single.
Single and ready to mingle. There she is wearing Chunk's shirt from the Goonies.
Got this sweet little Harry Manfredini music. You got the back and forth. It's just a really chill fucking like
Great score.
Swipes. Yeah, this scores.
It almost reminded me a little for a second of King Kong 76.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah, it's got the gentle bit to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another thing, is we didn't talk about it, was the opening text says that the monster still lives in these swamps, pursuing its savage dream. And so once we see what the Swamp Thing's savage dream is it makes you wonder how they lost control of the project to get that written in there. Okay, yeah, so she just referred to his wife. But she will find out soon enough. And then we're sort of coming into this in Hans Gruber and the terrorists showing up at Nakatomi thing. We're missing most of those scenes. Instead, it's, they're not pulling up in a truck. It's like in progress, and we're missing a bunch of it to instead flirt, which is cool. Like,
it's very Bondish.
Yeah. But like really cheap. Like
uh-oh. It's a little too quiet. Love the shades.
Uh-huh. So we're actually 14 minutes into this. Like this, the pre-Swamp Thing parts of Swamp Thing take up a lot more of the movie than it feels like, because it just moves so fast.
Yeah, it does.
She just got there, right? This is her first day. So the action's been continuous.
That is a mane of hair she has.
Mm-hmm.
Only Adrienne Barbeau could carry that one.
Yeah, we lost count. Oh, okay. So look at all these extras.
It kind of looked like a Star Wars bunker for a second.
Mm-hmm. I love this. She's putting her hands in this like explosive
bare hands in that shit.
Plant material. And so the comics, I think, become in the first series, they become about him trying to rebuild his formula, but I don't know. I can't remember. That was like late in the series.
But that was
he can cure himself.
The first version of the series, right? Before the Alan Moore.
Yeah,
Because
that was late. I don't know if it continued at all in the like pre-Alan Moore revival in the 80s. I don't think I can't I can't remember, but it was not in the series to begin with. But the idea of curing yourself by rediscovering your old
yeah.
science, of course, was the Hulk as well.
Mm-hmm. Because the original version of Swamp Thing was this was pretty much in parallel
Mm-hmm.
to he's just a guy in the swamp who merged with the swamp as opposed to later on where he becomes an elemental because of
Mm-hmm.
the and he just has the memories of Holland. She said watermelons.
I wonder if that's a Attack of the Killer Tomatoes reference there.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've seen her in something else. Was her grandma locket on?
Okay. So yeah, we're almost 20 minutes in this, and we still haven't done it. We're just
Mm.
building up the story. Like the origin story. You don't see this chill of origin stories often.
No, by now the villain at least would have been introduced, right?
Mm,
We're very much immersed in what these guys are doing. And clearly we got to like them.
oh, you're not married?
Don't. Nah.
Cute little character relationships.
Straight up Three's Company.
Yep.
Jack!
Okay. So now he's going to notice. Wait for it. I wonder what takes. How long is it into RoboCop before he gets killed off?
I'd say by the 15-minute mark,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
Because there's all that's OCP stuff before it.
Yeah.
And see, how
So
come she doesn't have
Adrienne Brody saw this movie as a kid and was like, "That's what you do when you're happy. You
yeah.
grab
Now
some
she
lady."
put her hands in the goop. Why is there no pine tree branches
Well,
coming out
she's
from her
gonna
hand?
die, so we're not gonna know.
She could have been a swamp thing.
Right. So we've never seen the camp during the day. So by doing it at night, it's a nice low budget trick. And I don't know. I guess I just don't ever think of Wes Craven as like that kind of a low budget director. I don't know why.
Eh.
But like he does have a lot of creativity. He just doesn't, he's just not
Well, that's because a lot of those guys came up together, you know.
Yeah.
Craven and James Cameron and all those guys. So they
Okay.
helped each other cut corners in a lot of these movies. So we know of the henchmen, but
We haven't met Arcane yet. Nope.
right, no Arcane just yet.
Nope. And the bad guys are just sort of.
Well, you got Heckle and Jekyll here.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why they're memorable. They're not, they don't even have names yet, I don't think.
Woo!
Don't mess with Adrienne Barbeau.
Rambarbo. Rambarbo. Oh, wow.
Yep. So in the comic, it's three guys in suits.
Mm.
Neither have they.
Oh, look what he did.
Now we get a weird, like,
All right.
yep. The chief henchman there works his ass off. He's
Holy Mission Impossible, Batman.
mm-hmm. So Louis Jourdan was a heartthrob. Um,
Yeah,
who
before this.
yes, before this, he was a heartthrob, and then
Now
he
this
sort
is
of
kind of those. This is the later days where he still thinks he's got it,
yep.
but he's
He's still a
sort of
name of
oldish.
sorts. Yeah, like 82. Was still when they were releasing posters with the pictured cast at the bottom in the
Mm-hmm.
rectangles. Swamp Thing has one of those posters. Okay.
Yeah. There's various. Oh wow,
Yeah.
there's different versions of it. I've seen one with that, and then there's one with
There's a
just
nice one without. Yeah.
right. Why does the one dude look like he's trying not to laugh? Yeah.
Glowing stuff in hand, and it stopped glowing when he tossed it.
Right. Yeah. Woo.
Okay. Man in flame suit.
So they just Anakin his ass.
Yep.
They don't even confirm the body. Woo.
I think they use this footage in Return of Swamp Thing, like the origin,
Yeah.
some of the origin footage they use.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah, they do.
there's very little.
They're pretty bold releasing this so close to when Richard Pryor burned himself, you know? But then again, they had dropped uh, Halloween before this with a Halloween 2 with a flaming Michael Myers at the end.
So that close up does not match the other exterior photography. Okay. So Bruno is going to be important later on. So we'll keep track of Bruno. When Swamp Thing gets really weird for a PG movie. Okay. There's our comic booky slimy swipe. And it's morning. And they've been disposing of all those extras overnight. Yep.
I think they made it purposefully, kind of.
Yeah.
Not as bad as the second one, but
yeah, I mean, there's that nice kind of contrast with it, right? Like there are the campier elements, but then also it's very just Craven's direction is just
yeah. Of course, the brother is looting.
I think he's smoking pot too. No, that's just.
He looks like RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. Oh shit!
Bruno feels bad, so he's going to put it back down there. Bruno is in Darkman in a similar role. And it's like the guy did nothing in between the two things. Then he has these two.
He played the same. He played, Thug number 2.
Right.
And everything. I know he did a couple of A-Teams. Probably appeared on Knight Rider too. Any action cop show.
Then there's this guy. But they're just going to drown her alive, so. And Bruno's not happy. It's very PG threatening.
Right, because if this was rated R.
Right. But I mean, this is a lot of violence for a PG. Like,
there's a lot of hitting and slapping and
yeah, it's almost like somebody complained and they were like, well, I mean, what'd you give something like Empire, right? Or the big one here would have been Raiders. Like Raiders was PG with a paragraph afterwards saying it was extreme. Or was that Temple of Doom? I think that was Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom was the reason for, right?
PG-13, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it had a disclaimer at the time. Okay. And shouldn't have said that. Because otherwise it wouldn't have had a good reaction.
Good effect. I like that.
As long as they're treating Swamp Thing like Jaws in this, they can do a little bit better. Now, at this point, there had been those like Sasquatchy movies like Legend of Bogey Creek and things like that. So Swamp Thing sort of seemed like an complication of one of those if you didn't know it was from a comic. I really like this bit of music here. Like it's just horns or whatever.
To a degree, the suit works.
Yeah, to a degree.
Because it's, he's just turned Swamp Thing. So you could pass it off as, well, this is him in the early stages.
Right.
Where he's still somewhat human.
And I mean, like, some of the shots work. Like, the boot shots don't work, but, like, some of the shots definitely work. Thing I was going to say, that I was just thinking, some of Swamp Thing it's low budget, but they don't do a lot of close-ups. Usually, you've got shots like that 3 shot Like in a TV
Mhm.
show, like in a Xena or something, you get all those shots, right? Like you
Yeah.
don't get like long shots like out of Aliens, right? But
Mm-mm.
Craven knows Craven does some of those, and it really makes it feel bigger
Yeah.
because you can't really do a big establishing shot of a swamp.
Nah, because it's kind of redundant, or it's not. You can't just you could get scope, but you just can't.
Like to get what are you going to do? Go to the edge of the swamp? That's not going to work.
Right.
So instead, it's just got so much personality. Like movies where people are in water this much just doesn't. There just aren't a lot of them because it's a pain in the
And
ass and it
yeah,
sucks. Like
it had to be difficult to film on the water, and they do so well with it. Oh, mm.
okay. And the black guy was the first bad guy to
Brother
die.
gets it. Damn it.
He was the first guy to die.
The first one, it
Or the
just
first bad
falls.
guy, anyway. Yep.
Well, they get the other guy right. They don't get the two.
Yeah. I don't
He gets
remember
a
where
couple of them.
there's going to be a boat chase in here, too. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Who's on third?
Right. What's on first?
I mean, the weird part is there's going to be a lot of that kind of humor in the second one. And there's no
Yeah.
creative connection between the two of them, really. So
Uh-uh.
it's just weird that they wanted to do that. So yeah, in this one, Arcane's just going to be surrounded by young women who gaze at him.
Yeah. Because he's Louis Jordan, the most tepid villain. Like, he's hardly threatening unless he has a gun in his hand.
Trying to think. So
Or scary at all.
yeah, he's not Gene Hackman, that's for sure.
No. Right. You gotta uh, I mean it's a cool decision not to be over the top compared to what Lindsay Chapman does on the show. It
Or
actually helped the character for the show.
when we get to the next one, we can compare the Jordans. But yeah, it's it's just weird.
Just yeah, it's not. He
It's like
seems like
Hugh
he's ready for
Hefner
his
is a
nap.
supervillain. Yeah.
Right.
Like, but we haven't even gotten to the really weird part yet.
Hmm.
So we're 35 minutes in, which means it's been less than 15 minutes since he blew up. And like there's been the action sequence than this, but just the pacing is so much different. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Thank you
feel
for
like
taking those windows off your face, dude.
she couldn't get that line and they told her that she could just drop the exposition and say, you better talk to him yourself. Okay, so this I always thought was awesome. They made a big deal about how they're in the middle of the nowhere in these swamps, right? That they had to fly in by helicopter. They had to take a boat out to get her. Instead, it's just like, no, those are just the swamps off the highway. Like you just drive there. Okay. So,
Yes.
yep, it's Jude.
Dude, the best character in this fucking movie here.
So great. Like,
This kid is awesome.
and he's just some local. Yep. Like, they were auditioning local kids, and he just has the perfect deadpan.
Yes. Looking like a miniature Raj from What's Happening.
And having a kid in your superhero movie, like,
Who's not annoying.
yeah. Because I mean, think about Superman 4, think about Iron Man 3. Though Iron Man 3, I think, was kind of okay, but it's like, but that's not what he's going to be like in this.
No.
He's like her sidekick
Mm-hmm.
who knows
And he's
nothing of the
helpful.
situation. Yeah, it's like a buddy flick. It's like
Yeah.
a Adventures of Babysitting, right? Like,
Almost. Got that old school limo.
do we get any shots of him driving down the road in the swamp? Like,
Shit looks like a waiting room. Oh no.
yeah, she thought she was calling the other guy,
Yeah.
but it's really,
Okay, so she actually was knocked out when
oh,
he
we do
came
get
in
this
there.
shot. Yeah, so
Yeah, look at the
she did
limo.
not see it. There's like another, there's, oh, look at the cop cars in the distance keeping the road closed. Like, cars. That's another thing that I don't think the youth will ever understand is how excited people got to have shots of cars in TV and movies in the early 80s. Like,
Or the idea of a limo just
mhm.
wheeling the hell around. Because a lot of movies had that.
So when I first saw this I saw this after I saw the sequel, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was always bummed that the sequel didn't involve these two, which will be set up later.
Well, they kind of replace.
They do, but it's not at all the same.
No,
Like,
not
no.
nearly. And those two are just.
Yeah.
And would you believe they make it to the cartoon?
I just don't understand how nobody got him in anything else.
Exactly. Well, the 80s, if he was in anything else,
Yeah.
he would be, token Jude and only get maybe two or
Yeah.
three good lines. Oh,
Yeah.
you see, he had to say that on ADR because,
Yep. Nobody knew what had happened. So now we get are we gonna get Swamp Thing versus Truck? I think we are.
God, Wes worked the hell out of Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah.
Because for the last, what, not till she got to the store,
Did she
because
get to
all she's
slow
been doing
down?
is
Yep.
running and,
Doing a bunch of action scenes.
yeah. God bless you, Adrienne Barbeau.
It's kind of one of her biggest roles. Like, even in the fog, she's kind of she's
Yeah, she's like
barely in
special
it.
guest star in the fog because she's stuck in the one location.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Creep Show. But again, that was
Yeah,
just
she's
a
kind of
memorable character.
yeah, getting into genre is weird because I mean she started on a sitcom,
Hmm.
but like
She's so good, though.
yeah,
I mean, Escape from New York, again, she's like fourth banana.
I can't
Shout out
remember.
to Dick Durock here, who's the Swamp Thing.
Yes, so supposedly, did we already talk about that? We already talked about the Ray Wise. Was he in the costume or not? Controversy, or maybe that was pre-show. Oh, there's another black bad guy. He's going to be the nope, nope. That guy's the first. They're
He was the
running.
smart one that ran. That was
Yep.
probably the same dude.
Okay, so she's mortified by him, but he's very dignified looking in this one. Like,
Right. The face.
yeah,
That's why I say this works as early, before,
yeah,
they alter the suit. I mean, it is a
yeah.
hokey suit, but
But it was
it
1982.
works. Yeah, it
Like,
works for this.
and like a lot of the shots, the long shots of the suit are totally fine. I mean, there's the
Hmm.
size thing because, like, Swamp Thing's supposed to be 7 feet tall. So even
Yeah.
in the original series, he was 7 feet tall. Well, I just Wes Craven, right? Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine Jude narrating Nightmare? Like, did they even have a black friend in that?
Not till part
Three?
three.
Yeah,
Three.
so he should have totally
Kincaid.
been.
Kincaid was the first.
Okay, he totally should have been the black friend in Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, was Bruno in this out like
With
the
his
tight
Walmart
outfits on these
camo
dudes?
T-shirt.
Yep, like
Cigarette.
yep. The guy looking
God.
like he doesn't want the smoke in his eye. Like, okay, so the secret of immortality is not just Louis Jourdan in this movie. It's also or Return of Swamp Thing. It's also Louis Jourdan in Year of the Comet, which
Wow.
yeah, it basically I think people just thought that Louis Jourdan was good at playing a narcissist who couldn't age. So not sure if you want to be typecast as that, but
I
you get
guess
some
he's
checks
good
out
at
of
it,
it.
right?
Yep.
He's just not threatening at all.
No, I mean these guys are like they're not scenery chewing enough and they're not campy enough,
No.
right? Like they're not like A-team villains or something, right?
Yes.
But they're not campy either. So, or well, I mean, whether or not A-team villains are campy, they're not intentionally campy like other stuff.
Mm-mm.
Very sweet little scene.
The Regina Savannah.
So we will never find out anything about Jude. We will not find out
Yeah, who are his
who his
parents?
parents are.
Where does he actually live?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by he's killing it in this, but in anything else, they would have marginalized him.
Yeah. But Wes Craven's dialogue never sounds better in this than from him. Like,
Mhm.
I always love that moment too because they're having this moment and then she ruins it and he like realizes it. It's just like this such nice texture to their relationship.
Yeah. It's something you don't see because look, I'm gonna say this. On film, you don't really have good relations between white women and
Well,
black
black
dudes.
kids, like, right.
But
Yeah.
it's
It's not, it's an
yeah,
uncommon
it's not
sort of
schmaltzy in
arrangement.
this.
Right, right. This isn't The Blind Side, right? Like,
Yeah, she's not rescuing him. She's not teaching him shit.
they're just in this action movie situation together.
Right, they're in it together.
Another thing about what makes Swamp Thing different is that they clearly are using the same locations, like between action set pieces. Because, like, some things, like a Die Hard movie, you go to a place, you have the fight there, and you never go back to the place.
Uh-uh.
Aliens, The Thing, they have to repeat the locations that the action takes place in. And like Swamp Thing does that too, which makes it seem um, it doesn't seem to have the same restrictions on low budget. Like some of its low budget stuff is very different than other, like, Assault on Precinct 13, right? They have one building.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is blowing shit up, going someplace, blowing it up, going back to the place, hanging out in the same swamp. Like it's really good. I don't even think they have a credited production designer on this. It's just really well done. And now here
Yeah.
is where we find out his hands are too big. This is where the suit, I think, looks its rubberiest.
Especially when he bends.
Yeah. And just crinkles. I mean, no wonder you can't do your science anymore. Your body is a flop suit.
But Dick Durock is a tall guy, though.
He is, yeah. He was, at this point, he was like famous for Battlestar Galactica or something.
Wow.
He like
He was
played a
in Stand
Grand
By Me.
Inquisitor. Really?
Yeah. The part with the pie eating contest. I can't remember his name specifically, but he's the guy that when Lard Ash trips, he's like, "Come on, boy, you don't know you don't need to be up in here," something like that.
But he has no, like, he's a stunt man having to do this part that they thought Ray Wise was going to be doing in the makeup. So it's like there's a lot of acting required from him in this one.
Yeah. And he's just so good. Like,
yeah.
If you could take anything out of the Swamp Thing live action franchise, Durock's performance got better with each
Right.
show or movie.
And then when he does, well, you can wait. But so that's the tree that started growing the yesterday night when it exploded. It's already grown that much because this only a night's gone by. Still. Okay, it's time for a speedboat fight. Speedboat fight.
Okay, who did Last House on the Left?
Craven.
Was
That's the
that Craven?
dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
that guy there. Yeah, that's why I was wondering. I knew
Yeah.
I recognized him.
It's like you go from your X-rated slasher movie to your PG sort of. I think as thinking about Swamp Thing as a PG is a little. It doesn't. I mean, obviously, Craven was willing to get it more of an adult rating overseas, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're not going to do it gory with Swamp Thing killing these guys, there's
Yeah.
no reason to have any gore when they get killed. And you can do it more as an action thing, which the stunt, it'd be easier as far as just you have to do the stunt shot. It feels like it could be like a Corman, like a good
Yeah.
Corman.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like,
Whoa.
if he did this at the same time he did Alligator, that would like make sense.
Right.
Yeah. Speedboat chase through swamps in this lake. You got your actors in the water. Like, they just don't mess around with it. Like,
Just think if this had an action figure set.
right? Oh, wow. That'd be amazing. You get your speedboat.
Speedboat.
You get your Bruno 1. You get your Bruno 2. Yeah. I mean, this would actually be a cool action figure set.
Hell yeah.
Like, there are never enough cables in the store because they only made like 10% because it was the female character.
Right.
And then shit, you mail away for your Jude and then
Special
your
order
Hollins.
Jude. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, special order Jude, but then you can order the Hollins as a set.
Yeah, the Hollins comes as a set with the lab.
Yep. There you go. We totally should commission an, I don't know, a fake Sears catalog ad for that. I mean, there were Lone Ranger toys. That's what people don't understand.
That's what I mean. They had Lone Ranger damn toys.
And that was just from the movie, right? That fucking bomb. And for years, there were just Lone Ranger toys everywhere.
Especially, remember when Toys R Us first opened in Evanston? All that hella back stock they had from like the late 70s and shit. They still have Mego figures.
And I could, my broken Hulk, and I had two.
Yeah, I had a Hulk too.
They had two, so they had them long enough you could get the Hulks. I vaguely remember a Spider-Man, but I think I'm making it up in my head. Like, I don't think I could have had a Spider-Man Mego.
I know I had Hulk.
Oh yeah, because you could get Hulks until about 1988 for some reason.
Yeah, because they had so many.
Because the show, they would have done it when the show was on.
The show and then the cartoon,
yeah, there just would have been a bunch. The Hulk Mego, the ET. Wow. So there you go, ladies. Louis Jourdan with his shirtsies off.
I still got it, Jordan.
Okay, so
look at that neck.
Hold on. Let's see how old he was in this. 1982, 1921. Okay.
Oh my God.
He was 59. I mean,
he looks like Alan Alda.
Yeah, he does look very much like Alan Alda.
God.
but Alan Alda, when he was 20 years younger, so Louis Jourdan actually did age pretty well, considering. Okay, so 61. So he's Tom Cruise's age, basically.
Oh
A
wow.
few years ago, yeah. So he'll do a running shot at some point. Okay, so we missed discussing Adrienne Barbeau changed her shirt. So she's lost the Hawaiian shirt.
Stands out too much.
Hmm. I just love the way they shoot this, where it's like, I'm not, it doesn't seem like very realistic lighting in a way, but the diffusion helps with that. But like the bright background, while you still get the face and stuff in shadow, it just gives it some
Hmm.
personality. Like that's the thing about Swamp Thing is it's got a lot of personality, even though it's got a hokey costume and Louis Jourdan.
Oh wow.
So, did Jude just get killed? We don't know. That's pretty fucking hardcore. They just killed a little
Yeah.
kid. So,
Well, if he was an adult,
he would already been dead.
he'd have been dead just for yeah.
But wait,
Mm.
it is a while before he can talk, right?
Yeah. I think they were kind of nervous because Dick DeRock wasn't an actor.
Well, they dubbed him anyway. That's very wise. In
That
this
is very
one,
wise voice.
yeah, in this one, it was a big deal in the second one.
Mm.
There you go. There's some height of technology for 1982. If you weren't Lucasfilm. Nice trailer moment. What's interesting about the mask is that, or the suit, is that it has elements of the Bernie Wrightson design, but
Right.
does not go far enough with them. So it instead
No.
makes it feel more like a B sci-fi movie drama. Like it's just a quirky little action horror sci-fi thriller. Like
Yeah, it's a drive-in movie. Summer quickie.
right. Because it's got a lot more competence than like just in general than if it were like made in 77 and we're like really super low budget.
Oh my god. It would have been
Okay.
so bad.
So she
Microphones
could,
dipping in every shot.
yep. So pretty much Adrienne Barbeau always can kick ass in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
I think this is
Like
where
I
we're gonna
said, they
get,
give her a lot to do.
yeah. I mean, Avco Embassy, I think, went bankrupt pretty soon after this because I thought Carpenter had a third movie with them that never got made.
Mm.
Did you see the mask like wasn't staying on his face when he
Yeah, it was
spoke?
like, oh,
Okay, so here we go. A perfectly okay PG movie. Nothing gonna be too bad about. Oh wow, he's crushing his
whoa.
skull so much blood is coming out of his mouth. And it causes Cable shirt to get thinner, and then the guy's legs kick like in a PG movie.
It really looks like the comic right there.
Mm-hmm. But what I really like is that Wes Craven made the locations work, right? Like
Hmm.
they really made, sure, you can tell that they're on the side of the road. Like it's not, the scale is not what it should be, but they made it work.
Yeah, they knew the right spots to go.
We will not see that in the second one. Okay, so now it's their flirt scene from before. So his voice is back fully at this point, but it seemed like he was having so
God.
much trouble before. Was he
They
like
gave him Planet of the
practicing?
Apes mouth.
Mm-hmm. Was he practicing while she was asleep?
So this is somewhat like the comics where he did struggle to talk originally.
Yeah, but that was for 6 issues, not 30 minutes, I guess, ish.
Yeah.
And it took him a while to talk in the comics.
Right.
So, we've gotten over the reveal that he has become Swamp Thing at this point. We're just sort of moving on with him as the main character.
Hmm.
Just, I mean, it's kind of got the constant like running thing, but it's just such a weird tone to the action. It's so cool. Like,
Because it's stop and go. It's red light, green light in this movie. Very much.
yeah, but their story in this becomes there's no level of romance, I don't think, in the comics for this. Certainly not toward the beginning. And
No, the beginning it's more of a horror comic.
yeah,
Or
and so Alan Moore hadn't taken over yet. So it's like Wes Craven found the Beauty and the Beast aspect of it, though it's not. Okay, so speaking of beauty, here we have the
there we go.
inexplicable, PG nudity of 1982. That was just a thing that they did in the 80s until this would have been one of the last. This has got to be one of the last things. Like
In the 80s?
for
Before what
PG,
PG? Yeah. Because PG-13, they really like
they really exploited it for PG-13, but
yeah.
PG, this
This
was
might
actually kind
this
of
might have
late
been one of the
for it.
last. No, wait. 16 Candles had a booby shot.
That's right. And that was PG. Yep. Because 84. So yeah. And that might have been what drew the attention to it, right?
Yep.
Like you've got your weird Carrie homage. Okay. So she's showered or bathed, and now he's sad because he doesn't have a man's hands anymore. But while looking for Swamp Thing, Louis Jourdan finds her.
With more henchmen.
Yep. These two at least look like weird brothers.
Right.
Look at the mullet. Look at the mullet on the one. And
oh wow, To Catch a Swamp Thing.
Yep. Got him.
Are we really already on this part?
Yeah.
Wow.
it's a like Wes Craven knows how to make a 91-minute movie, like
Yeah, the pacing is off the chain, man.
this was one of the things though. It took a while for genre movies to sort of get particularly long, right? Like for a while, Predator being 147 minutes was like one of the longer ones of those sort of a sci-fi action movie would get. Oh, Bruno found the notebook.
See, I found it for you, boss. See what I found?
Isn't
You
this
happy,
funny?
boss, right?
So I guess I hate Jerry Lewis, but if they'd gotten Jerry Lewis for Arcane, that would have been appropriate.
Honestly, if Jerry Lewis played it like he played in King of Comedy, like dead serious, I would have felt for it.
Yeah. Okay, but now we get to see the mansion where the guests are a combination of businessmen and then the henchmen in formal attire.
Right, they're just like Isaac from the Love Boat. Look at that.
And then the sort of weird Southern mansion, but nobody's Southern. Like,
and of course, they made sure they tied Adrienne Barbeau right.
mm-hmm. But so this is the fucked up dinner party scene here. Like,
oh yeah.
And it's just like, how was this?
Oh wow, black folks, what the hell?
They wanted the secret of immortality too.
Oh wow.
To Bruno.
Yeah.
Oh, so the mercenaries are they there to keep track of him when he reacts? Is that why they're seated there? Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
How long would this movie have been, though, if Louis Jourdan hadn't talked slowly? 80 minutes? I feel like you could put him on 1.5 speed. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe they don't know what's going on with them. Here's a disgusting transformation scene in your PG movie. Oh, Return to Oz also had a bunch of unpleasant imagery.
Crazy, just nightmare fuel.
But then we've got this, which is low budget nightmare fuel. Which
it's good with the cutaways.
Yeah.
Now it looks like Curly. Oh.
Okay, so he's gonna go under the table.
Mm-hmm.
So they can
so we don't have to do the whole
we don't have to do the whole thing. And instead we get this guy who I think was he in The Bride?
Is that
I don't know.
Because that dude's awesome. I forget his name, but he was awesome. Like,
let's see if I can find it.
He used to even have his own show at one point.
Okay, so they are now locked up, and That was Tommy Madden, Space Invaders, Muppet movie. Maybe not.
No, the dude, from The Bride name was something else.
Okay.
He's a British guy too, I think, right?
Okay. So now Bruno's locked up there, and Bruno's actor is dubbing
Why did he
the
shrink
dialogue. They're going to explain it. They're going to explain it. Louis Jourdan with his throne shots for stills.
Oh, Swamp Thing have a stroke too?
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to notice that.
Oh, God.
Did it just become unaffixed throughout filming or something? Like,
It was probably loose from all that sweat under the costume.
oh yeah, because that would have just been buckets of sweat.
Yeah.
That's what these guys in costume, like, the impressive thing is just how many pounds of water they can sweat out in a day before they get emptied out.
And they said he never complained once.
Okay, so in this, the formula just makes you more of what you already are.
See, now it goes back to the shot where the mouth is all.
Yeah. What is going on with that?
It looks like it just got loose.
Yeah, and he looks uncomfortable all the time. Like, it adds to it. Like, it's one of those. It's unpleasant. But I mean, this is a big part, right? Like, Swamp Thing's in this a bunch. So I guess I'm saying that if this were remade with the same script and shots, and it were, I don't know, Joaquin Phoenix, he'd win Best Actor. Man in suit performance needs to win Oscar. Just saying. But because I mean, he's in it a bunch.
Yeah, he does get a lot of coverage.
He's in it more than Batman's in Batman. He's in it more than,
which is honestly really cool because normally you don't get this much coverage of the hero.
No, because they just can't make it look good that long. Like, they can't sustain it. They can't afford to sustain it. And CGI
they can't all be Carl Urban,
right?
Who will wear the mask for the entire movie, without having to snatch it off every 5 seconds to let you know that's him in the costume.
All right, so Louis Jourdan knows the score now. He knows that if he has the potion, it'll just make him more of what he is. So what's he going to do?
Still very sedate and non-threatening.
They got the glow back for the potion.
Let's just try this.
Doesn't seem like they can make it work in the
it's predator blood
glass. Yeah, it probably is. Okay, so it's the third day of the movie at this point.
Yeah.
No idea what happened to all of his party guests. Were they staying at the mansion, or did they leave after Bruno's
Did they just
outburst? It's like a budget. Was he ever a Bond villain? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. This is even grosser than the other thing. Hold on.
It's the Skeletor speech.
Yeah.
Power! Oh, wow. So he doesn't take it.
No, he already took it.
He did?
Yeah. I think he drank it before his monologue.
Oh.
All right. But now the sun is creeping into.
He's starting to realize he's got, abilities.
How did. Just generally saying that. I can't remember how the limbs regrow in the comics. There definitely are limb regrowing instances in the comics. This was before Toxic Avenger 2.
Mm-hmm.
That was 84. And that was one of the only way you can do a man in suit the whole time is to be campy. Okay. What's wrong? It's like Teen Wolf.
Oh, it didn't skip a generation, Dad.
Oh, wow.
Yep. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one they went all out for. Is this a bit in the. Did they do something with this in. Okay, so yeah, that I always thought was a little too freaking gross.
Yeah.
Your scab encrusted head being crushed in with blood. Because this was a year after, oh yeah, the acid eating through. This was a year after American Werewolf, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's some
How is that
amazing
never
effects.
a poster? How's that never been a poster with Adrienne chaining that wall like that?
Like she probably had multiple movies like that. So okay, so now he's got his gross scab suit, but as opposed to Swamp Thing, who never breaks out, there's going to be, little Kermit hand. And then this guy's going to be pulling off his.
Now I never really thought the final product was scary.
No, the Warthog Man? No. Little Superman-esque music there. Well, and the other thing is,
because at this point, that's not Louis Jourdan.
No, that's not Louis Jourdan in the suit. But he also isn't. He doesn't maintain. He doesn't have like a mirror. Yeah, he doesn't maintain his intelligence, so he doesn't become. Or does he? And he's just not talking.
Maybe
that's some lousy.
Yeah, that shit is.
That's a bad suit. But in the comics, Arcane is like an old wizard who sees him and wants to switch bodies and stuff. It's not, the immortality thing is very different than in this. It's not about a secret formula. But
that suit just looks like pieces of other monster suits.
It looks like bad. Yeah. So that it just falls. That we'll get to the action scene, which is fine, but it does not get excused. It is not a good suit.
Uh-uh.
Okay, so we've spent the last 10 minutes in this dank freaking
Wow.
thing.
What it?
Yep. But now you can go swimming. The bottom of the Great Swamp. So a well-known a well-known swamp where they had their secret lab.
And there goes Bruno, folks.
Yep, that's the end of Bruno. And now it is time for our big final fight. But they go to a special place where either they must have been running a lot of, what do you call it? Smoke machines or something like.
Smog, yeah.
Yeah. Fog maker or whatever.
Fog makers.
It's very cool. And it stops before the
and that's a daylight
swamp
too,
shots. Yeah.
Which has got to be hard to do.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it can't be dry ice. Dick Durrick's legs would have. But it's just a neat look. And it really helps considering the fight scene sucks as far as like it's a weird monster fight. Like
it's like a actual size Godzilla fight.
Almost. Right. Like it looks like a Power Ranger. Like it looks more like a Power Rangers fight than you would ever want to say that about anything.
Did you see the under the arm?
Yep, I saw under the arm. That he just hasn't transformed there yet.
Oh.
Adrienne Barbeau.
Got her right in the bar boob.
But that's enough of that business. And we're going to do a full batting. See, if the costumes were holding together during some of this, it would have been fine.
Yeah, because that was a different suit.
Yeah.
When he was hitting them.
Yeah, it's got the vein in the forehead. Yeah, the headpiece is different. So it's just like, okay, so he's already saved Jude, who's unfortunately disappeared, but that's good because it wouldn't have been responsible to have him at the mansion. But what the heck's he gonna do? Oh, gee. Maybe I should take some moss off of myself and save her, as opposed to when I just like saved that kid and didn't even think about it. Like, this is a big deal. I've got to touch her boob in order to save her. Is it worth it? Goofy. It's because there is no camp to this part, right? Like, which is a big problem with your arcane monster, but
it's just it looks so bad. Like if he wasn't threatening before.
Right. I think they get one good shot at some point. Not that shot. I think the post Highlander shot's good.
Yeah.
Not this shot. Not the shot of the monster dead. Nope, not that shot either. Hold on. Maybe I'm making it up. There's your trailer, your weird trailer shot. No. I thought there was like a crane shot of him walking away from it.
Oh, wow. That would have been...
Yeah.
Wow.
with the fog going. Oh, look at that.
Mhm.
Awesome ooze coming out from my PG. Ugh. Oh shit, she has been in heels this whole time, at least this part. Oh, I am healed.
Completely.
Why didn't you do that right away instead of making a big deal out of it for no reason? And exit Swamp Thing. She's really good in this part.
Mm-hmm.
You got that gentle music. It's just, aw.
Man.
Because
somebody else in 1982 said something similar to
right,
that.
like
Stay tuned for Swamp Thing 2, Nocturnal Fears.
right. There's Jude.
Yay!
Aw. And then they see Swamp Thing going away. He'll be back. See, that's why I want a sequel with that, right? Like, I don't know. I would have even been happy with a reunion show on the show. Skit. Reggie Bat's back. So,
Yes.
so yeah, I mean,
Whatever became of him?
nothing. This is all
Reggie
he did.
Batts. Crazy.
He might have been too churchy to be an actor. I think I don't remember. Maybe I might be making that up. But there's an interview with him and he's very chill about it. And he's just like, he didn't do anything else. But what I'm saying is, okay, so Rob Wilson King, who is the set designer on this, I believe is the only person who also works on the sequel. But yeah, like there was not a 1982, you're right. There was no place that could have taken advantage of that. Like,
No.
So it filmed outside Charleston, which I think is whatever.
It's Barbeau's evening gown design.
Evening gown. Nobody else's. Costume designer for principal cast. Wardrobe designer. Jay's Meat and Provisions.
Meat and Provision.
Those, I bet Modern Film Effects wrote those opening intros. So copywritten 81, not released till 82. Radio Shack donated some crap. Nice. So yeah, the Magnolia Plantations and Gardens apparently is where this would have filmed. Second one
South Carolina.
In Florida, I think. Yep. And the end.
Swamp Thing will return.
Pre DC movies actually coming back, or like in the early days, there was talk of a new Swamp Thing movie that became the show, but had nothing to do, I don't think, with, because Len Wein was writing a movie at some point. He was writing a treatment. And then, yeah, and I haven't seen the new show yet. So,
Oh, the new show. Yeah, the more recent one was pretty good.
yeah. And
It was
Adrienne
really good.
Barbeau cameoed on that, right?
Yeah, she played a character in it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just,
So,
man, it was just so good. Of all those shows, they should have just, they should have pushed that more than some damn Doom Patrol, I guess. But
I love my
whatever.
Doom Patrol.
I still have to see it.
You gotta just bite the
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it
cyborg
eventually.
bullet.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I was like, what the? He's not even tall.
No, it'll work. It works. His dad is Phil Lamar. No, not Phil Lamar. His dad is shit. Sorry about the clicking, folks. The dad is Phil Morris, and it is
Oh wow,
the best performance. Like season 1 Doom Patrol, you are getting the Joe Morton Silas Stone performance that was promised and never delivered on. The Phil Morris stuff, like when he's not on it because Rona or like cancellation and shit, like you're just like, when is there going to be more Phil Morris? He's so good. But yes, Reggie only did this and his interview on the 2013 DVD. So that's a bummer. But the producers, of course, went on to Batman and Robin, Lego Batman. Oh my goodness. The only thing they did before this, they did Mitchell, that infamous Joe Don Baker movie that
MST3K Mitchell. Wow.
Yeah. And something called Shoot with a bunch of Cliff Robertson and Ernest Borgnine in 76 in camouflage. So that's interesting. Okay. And then interesting career. Yeah, they basically just were waiting until their Batman whatever option vested, and once it did,
because the idea of Batman had been around.
Yeah, they were the Tom Mankiewicz guys in 82 or 83 or whatever. But yeah, so Swamp Thing, freaking Swamp Thing, it's great. Best watched for the first time at about 10:15 p.m. I don't know. Swamp Thing was a late night movie.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing in the 90s was a late night movie. In the early 80s, it was probably a 3:00 on HBO movie.
Yeah. It was one of those, again, HBO would just play the most time killerist movies. It was a good, since it's a tight 90 minutes,
Yeah, it fits perfectly in your programming block.
Just right.
So Arcane's secretary was Mimi Meyer, does it say? No. Yes. Mimi Meyer, who then immediately married Wes Craven.
That convenient.
Yeah. So there you go. Let's see. One of Arcane's messengers was also Adrienne Barbeau's uncredited stunt double, because she did tons of her own stunts. Young Reggie Batts plays local teen Jude, and while moderator Sean Clark ragged on his performance, wow, fuck him. Director Wes Craven defended him. I thought he did a good job. Acknowledged by casting someone local, they didn't have to abide by the SAG rules for children, which are pretty stringent. Sean Clark is some guy who fucking sucks, is who Sean Clark is.
For real? Because how do you say Jude sucks? He's like one of the best fucking parts of the movie.
Yeah, no, this guy sucks. But so the kid wasn't in the union, so that sort of probably would have had not good repercussions for his future career if he'd wanted one. Some of the backlots were looked at. Okay. People fainted. Second something in the comic. Okay, so very cool. I don't know. It's
Mhm.
oh, so that's right. I remember this from the commentary. The scene where he's flirting with her in the swamp
Mhm.
and she says, "Save it for your wife." The moderator, that Sean Clark guy, asked Wes Craven about it because the character isn't married, so why would she say that? Even though there was very specifically a scene where the sister implies that they're married, or Cable misunderstands it. And I remember that stuck out because I'm like, what the, like, didn't you watch this before you recorded the commentary? Like,
Well, smug, smug. I gotta be the know-it-all moderator guy.
yeah.
You know,
So,
that's why I hate Uber fans because
you know,
sometimes they just don't know every fucking thing.
commentary, yeah. And then once that became clear, it was like cool for a second, right? Like,
Mhm.
and then there's just not enough. There aren't enough subject experts for your shout commentary things, right? Like, because there's no point to it because like DVD special features became a joke pretty quick. And then places, people that did want to do them did them, but then everybody did them. And on Blu-ray, you get the retro ones, and you've only got a limited number of people who could moderate and that sort of thing. And I don't know. It's too bad. I remember that about the commentary now. It was disappointing on that. It's not the Swamp Thing 2 commentary. We'll talk about that. But that's next week, folks. This week we wanted to chill out and watch Swamp Thing and be happy
Hell
when
yeah.
Cable sees Jude at the end, and it's sweet. And there you go. It's a very strange PG horror
Horror,
maybe.
sci-fi,
Yeah,
sci-fi
like,
horror,
and it,
Southern Gothic. You know,
yeah, and it
to
sort
the
of ended. There weren't like Bigfoot movies after this. This was the end of that
oh,
sort of era.
till
Harry and Henderson.
yeah, and that was more. That
That
was in
was,
line of
yeah, that was
ET type,
look what we can do with costumes and
right? Leaps and bounds.
yeah. So
The
this sort of
magic of
ended
Rick
the,
Baker.
and don't forget what's his face, the guy who played him. The guy was great.
Dick Durock.
No, in
Oh no, Kevin Peter Hall. Yes,
yeah, Kevin Peter Hall.
can't
It's a
forget
bummer
him.
he never got to do anyway. A Swamp Thing. It's also a bummer he
Oh
fucking
well,
died.
hell yeah, he would have been.
It's
Oh
a
my
real bummer he fucking
god.
died when he like at
Oh
27 and 91 or something. Like
yeah, right
real bummer.
after
Two.
two. Yeah,
Predator 2.
Predator 2.
Well, that's an
Mm,
upper. All right.
yeah.
So we'll be back next time with Return of Swamp Thing, starring Louis Jourdan, Dick Durock, Sarah Douglas.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's enough, I guess. So night, everybody.
And let's stomp out the marsh here. Get out of the swamp.
Will he be back?
Oh, he always returns.